right now, just one day after House Republicans passed the debt limit bill. Let's get out to News Nation's Joe Khalil, who is live alongside House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, we got lucky. We ran into the Speaker here for just a second, who was gracious enough to give us a moment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for joining us here.
You're such a great reporter. I wouldn't skip you.
I hope all the bosses heard that back home. I want to ask you, you've now passed this debt limit bill. You're hearing Democrats say, look, when it comes to raising the debt limit, avoiding an economic catastrophe, there should be no negotiation. That should be by itself. Let's do it. Let's get over this. Why do you think they're wrong?
Because look what Speaker Pelosi said in 2019, that you would never pass a clean debt ceiling without doing something in the economy as well how you're going to spend. Schumer said the same thing. President Biden has said as senator, even vice president, he had the Biden talks, this is what we have done every time. But what's more important, when they would say that, we were only at $20 trillion in debt. Now we're at 32. It's larger than our entire economy plus 20%. We've watched it, we're on a tipping point. And this president wants to even spend more money. But everybody in America, remember what a debt ceiling is. It's like giving your child a credit card and they charged it all the way up. Would you just raise the limit without looking at what you're spending on? Now, you're responsible for pay it, and we'll pay it. What we have done is we've raised the debt limit, passed the bill through the House, but what we've also done is help curb inflation, grow our economy, and make us stronger. So why wouldn't you do that? And the president said I had to have a plan. I showed him the plan, and I passed it. Let's see now what they do.
So in your bill, there are certainly a lot of significant cuts. And you've got a lot of Democrats saying even Republican members, when they go back to their districts, are going to have to explain maybe some programs, some things. I mean, even money for some law enforcement, they say, that could potentially be cut. Do you think that's something that they're going to be willing to do?
Okay, now you're a good reporter, so don't read into their talking points. The Democrats say, we're going to melt children's bones. We're going to create asthma. Now listen to all your viewers. You know what we do? Read the bill. Nothing of that's in there. We simply go back to the spending levels we were at 4 months ago. So 4 months ago, were there people being laid off? Were there problems in the veterans or others? No, there were not. All we do is go back forward. Then we save money. The billions of dollars that we spent, but no one spent it and the pandemic's over. The Democrats want people to be able to keep that instead of bring it back to the taxpayers. In Wisconsin, just a month ago, they just passed work requirements by 82%. This is something that Senator Biden actually voted for. We put work requirements in for able-bodied people with no dependents. And then we cut the red tape so we can grow our economy.
That was a controversial one, the work requirements. You're getting a lot of flack for that from the other side.
You know what's so interesting? President Clinton signed it, and what did we find? It lifted people up more in to have jobs than ever before. It helped the supply chain. And the controversy here is, do we believe in the work ethic or not? That's the difference. And I don't have a problem having that big a difference with the Democrats, because they spend $6 trillion that brought us inflation, that gave us this debt problem, and now they want to continue down the same path. That's not going to happen.
So how does this end? Let's say we get to June and you haven't blinked and they haven't blinked, and we're mounting closer to the end of our spending limit. How does this end?
Well, it's the way government works. The House has taken action. The Senate has to take action. Now, I don't want to criticize the Senate for doing nothing, because they did name March Maine Maple Syrup Month. So they did accomplish that. And they did congratulate UConn for winning the NCAA tournament. So they have been busy, but they have ignored this. Now, the president, I sat down with him on February 1st to find a reasonable, responsible way to raise the debt ceiling. He has ignored for 85 days. So I'm fearful if we get to that moment in time, it's very clear. One side raised the debt ceiling so we wouldn't be in jeopardy, and another side has done nothing. So I don't know. I've encouraged the president to meet. I told him I'd get soft food, whatever it takes. We could sit down, we can meet together. He refuses. So he's putting our economy in jeopardy, and I'm fearful that the American public will be very upset with him if he does it.
Okay, and obviously they're saying the opposite on the other side. Yeah. So we're going to see how this ends as we continue into June. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for giving us a couple moments of your time. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. All right, so there you have it. Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Nichole, will send it over back to you.
Joe, before the speaker goes there, if you don't mind asking him one last question, if you can just grab him really quickly there, because obviously a lot of speculation about whether or not he would have the votes yesterday. He did, but is he concerned that that is going to continue to happen there in the chamber?
So, Nichole, I apologize because they had to take him away, so we don't have him to answer that question. But I can tell you that we have been asking that very same question to a number of Republicans, specifically in leadership, even today. And what they tell us is that they feel more confident. In fact, going through the process that they did just yesterday, what I'm hearing from Republican leadership sources, including those close to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, is that it was a test for them to get all of their members on board, and they were able to do it. And that in itself, they think, is an accomplishment. Remember, this bill is going to be dead on arrival here in the Senate. I mean, he just admitted as much that the Senate is likely not going to do anything about this bill. So what they needed to do is at least prove to maybe their own members that they are able, despite all the differences right now in the House Republican Conference, to bring everyone together and unite them around one bill. And whether this dies or whether it moves forward, they at least were able to do that and prove that they're capable of doing that. So, again, sorry that the Speaker couldn't answer that, but that's what I'm hearing from a lot of my Republican sources around Speaker McCarthy.
Well, we will certainly take your answer there, Joe. Thank you so much for that. Joe Khalil reporting live for us in the Capitol Rotunda. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.